And here he is, ladies and gents, the 1/60th scale, perfect grade Gundam 00 Exia from Bandai, based on the popular epic anime series, Gundam 00. This is actually my very first perfect grade custom build, so I'm super excited to open this thing up and see what these runners are going to look like, as well as the action base that comes included. But yes, very nice box art along the front for this interstellar masterpiece, and on the backside you get a clear glimpse of Exia in all of his majestic glory, along with a detailed illustrated presentation of the tech specs for this mobile suit, as well as the gimmick of the iconic GN drive, which I absolutely love. Visual examples of the different action poses that you can make, as well as weapons and equipment. The hand variation attachments look incredible, and another unique detail that I love about this perfect grade are the hatches that can open and close throughout the model. Okie dokie, now let's take a look at the sides and top of this box, and you can see on the left side another awesome image of Gundam Exia in a mid-air flight pose with his arms to the side. And on the right side you get a really nice view of the symbol logo designed for the Celestial Being project. So enough of that, let's move ahead and see what's inside the box. Inside there are a bunch of runners for every phase of this project, and you are happily greeted with a detailed instruction manual, which literally looks like a magazine. This manual is 25 pages long with a thorough visual walkthrough on how to piece this entire model together. But what I really love is the detailed presentation and narrative history of this anime, the characters in the anime, as well as the gimmick of the GN technology and how it changed the world politically. So yeah, really cool story if you ever decide to take the time to read up on this information. I only watched half of the entire first season on Crunchyroll, and it was enough for me to understand the entire essence of the story. So, opening up the inside cover, you will see a detailed historical overview in both English and Japanese. To be perfectly honest, if I had to choose a #1 favorite anime out of the entire Gundam series, it would have to be Gundam 00. I just love everything about the GN technology and the pilots that command these awesome mobile suits. Of course, you will have all the information that you need to piece this mobile suit together, as well as where to place the stickers and decals in all of the right areas. Also, there's a color guide towards the back side of the manual if you choose to do some custom painting, which I'm definitely going to do. In addition, I will be doing some custom weathering for the outer armor pieces because I want to make this mobile suit look as epic as I possibly can. Now, there is also a proprietary LED unit available for this perfect grade model, manufactured by Bandai. I decided to purchase mine separately because it was less expensive. There's also another version of this perfect grade model kit that does include the LED unit, but that one is going to cost roughly $400 based on what I've researched on the web, comparing prices on different kits. So if you're on a tight budget, by all means, go for this model kit and purchase the LED unit separately, because it's a difference of at least $100 that you will end up saving, whether you shop online through Amazon or eBay. I also want to talk about these LED lights, and these are amazing. The fact that you can change the color of these lights at the touch of a button just blows my mind. Here's a quick demonstration on how they work. I had to take these LEDs out of the box and test them out myself. Also, for the record, these do run on 4 AA batteries that come in a brick. And of course, this Bandai LED kit does come included with an instruction manual on how to properly install these awesome lights inside the inner frame for this perfect grade model. Okay, so let's move on and take a look at all the runners in this awesome kit. First up, we have the first blue armor parts for the shoulders, chest, and torso, as well as the outer frame of the GN drive. And we've got a really cool minifigurine of the Maester pilot, Setsuna Seiei. On the backside, we have the first of the inner frame parts, and these are primarily for the upper legs and some parts of the GN drive. Next runner up, we have more of the inner frame parts for the inner thigh areas, as well as the waist unit. I've been debating as to whether or not I should paint the entire inner frame. I think I'm going to go for a nice gunmetal base for the overall inner frame, because upon completion, even though you won't see much of the inner frame after assembling the outer armor pieces, it's still going to make the model look more realistic especially after opening all the hatches throughout this mobile suit. Either way, this perfect grade is going to look rock solid inside and out, with the custom painting and weathering I'm still going to do for the red, white, blue, and yellow outer armor pieces. Next runner-up, we have some of the first white pieces for some of the main weapons, and these would have to be for the GN Long Blade, Short Blade, and GN Sword. Second runner-up, we have some of the first clear parts for the inner frame, as well as the GN Drive. Next runner-up, we have more of the inner frame parts, and these are primarily for the upper and lower torso. And flip it on backside to the next runner, we have more parts for the chest frame. Next up, we have the action base, and this thing is bigger than I thought. Wow. And what's even cooler about this is that you can actually store all of Exia's weapons and equipment under the chassis for this action base. And on the next runner, we have the remaining parts for the action base, which includes the armature that holds the model in a stationary pose. And this also includes some of the first sticker decals in this kit. These are primarily for the armored white pieces for the mobile suit and the weapons. Plus there are black stickers for the round clear pieces that give off that illuminated text effect when you fire up the LED lights behind it. Next runners up, we have some silver and multicolored parts for the outer frame as well as the main weapons. The silver pieces are specifically for the GN Blades and the GN Sword. And on the multicolored runners, we have some outer frame detail pieces for the legs along the knees where the GN capacitors are located. I plan to custom paint those parts in a nice royal light gray to complement the larger white armored parts. Next runner up, we have more of the blue pieces as well as some light pale blue parts for the base of the shoulders, some red parts for the feet, waist, and sides of the lower torso. Next runner up, we have the remaining red armored pieces for the base of the feet. And I'm going to custom paint these in a metallic red base coat to give it a little more custom flair. Also, we have some silver reflective stickers specifically for the clear parts inside the head, but I'm not going to use those since I'm installing the Bandai LED unit to fire up the eyes and GN capacitors on the sides of the head. We also have the remaining outer frame parts for the legs and knees where the GN capacitors are located. On the next runner-up, we have more white outer frame parts for the head and GN Drive, and there are a lot of moving parts for the GN Drive. There's also more white parts for the base of the chest and hip areas of the waist, and of course the iconic V-fin for Exia's head. Next runner-up, we have the inner frame parts for the shoulders, arms, and hands. Next runners up, we have the remaining blue outer frame pieces for the GN Shield, Sword, and GN Blades. In addition to that, we also have the Beam Saber clear parts. Looks super cool. Now, these clear blue runners are really interesting, which are purposely designed for giving the right spectrum lighting effect when you fire up the LEDs inside the inner frame. Very impressive. Next runner up, we have some smaller inner frame parts, and I believe these would be considered the PC joint parts that lock in the connecting limbs and joints throughout the inner skeleton frame for this mobile suit. And on the next runner, we have the main inner frame parts for the GN Sword and GN Blades. Next runner up, we have more of the outer white armored pieces for the upper and lower legs. And for the record, these are the opening and closing hatches of the mobile suit that I previously mentioned. On the next runner-up, we have another cool-looking minifigurine of the pilot Setsuna in a seated position. Of course, I will hand paint these minifigurines with a fine-tip detailing brush. In the opposite runner, we have these really cool clear green parts for the GN weapons and the shield, and more inner frame pieces for the chest unit. Next runner-up, we have more inner frame parts for the lower legs, feet, and knees. Next runner-up, we have these beautiful clear green parts for the GN drive and GN capacitors in the areas that light up throughout the mobile suit. And on the next runner, we have the remaining white pieces for the GN weapons and GN shield. These pieces are beautifully sculpted. I'm really impressed with the level of attention to detail. I'm already convinced that this truly is a perfect grade model. Next two runners, we have more inner frame parts for the arm units, plus we have more smaller pieces that interlock everything in place, allowing the bending of the wrists and elbows. Finally, on the last runners, we have the outer white armored parts for the torso, hands, and arms. All right, ladies and gents, looks like all of the parts in this kit are accounted for, along with the LED unit. Let's start building the inner frame. And just like that, ladies and gents, we are done with this product review for this awesome perfect grade kit. Thank you so much for watching, but be sure to stay tuned for my next video as I will be presenting a step-by-step tutorial on custom painting and assembling the inner frame along with the Bandai LED unit. And of course, if you like my video presentation and content, please be sure to post and share your thoughts and comments down below. Smash that like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks again for watching, everyone, and I will see you on the next video.